Buenos días, arrancamos una nueva edición de la Barcelona New Economy Week. Acaba de finalizar, como han visto, la inauguración de este macroevento que, como saben, organiza el consorcio de la Zona Franca y que pretende reactivar la recuperación económica mundial desde aquí, desde Barcelona. Van a ser, desde luego, 4 días frenéticos en los que vamos a tratar de ahondar en los retos y en los avances de esta nueva economía. Por ejemplo, en las oportunidades de inversión inmobiliarias, también en la captación de talento, en los retos de sostenibilidad y muchos otros temas. ¿Desde dónde vamos a hacer todo esto? Pues desde 10 puntos emblemáticos de la ciudad condal que van a estar interconectados, conectados entre sí. Nosotros no nos vamos a mover de aquí, de la estación de Francia, donde vamos a estar hablando largo y tendido de e-commerce. ¿Qué cosas vamos a tratar? Pues, por ejemplo, las claves de digitalización del comercio global tras la pandemia, la mejora de la experiencia del cliente, el boom de los marketplaces y también el auge y la irrupción de las criptomonedas, que desde luego están en la actualidad. Todos vosotros lo sabéis. ¿Qué pueden hacer todas aquellas personas que no se puedan acercar hasta aquí, hasta la estación de Francia? Pues muy fácil, conectarse a Internet, registrarse de forma fácil, rápida y gratuita y estarán con nosotros. Solo un dato para que lo tengan en cuenta. El año pasado fuimos 11.000 registrados de 11 países, de 100 países, distintos, y les invitamos a que este año hagan correr la voz para que seamos muchos más. Sin más dilación, vamos a arrancar con la primera ponencia, que estoy segura que les va a atrapar, les va a enganchar. Es un panel dedicado a los nuevos desafíos económicos en el retail, el reto digital y sostenible. Los profesionales del sector y la industria en general del mundo, de nuestro país, llevan sufriendo más de un año los efectos de la pandemia. Por lo tanto, ¿quién es mejor que ellos para contarnos cómo lo vivieron, cómo se adaptaron y, por supuesto, los retos que ven de futuro? Les voy a dejar con la moderadora de este acto, que es Ana Cucurull. Ana, bienvenida, muchas gracias por estar con nosotros. Unas píldoras para que sepan quién es. Ella es la fundadora de la innovadora consultoría empresarial A Piece of Pie, pero antes también fue ejecutiva de Accenture y directora del canal Metro. Durante más de 25 años ha implementado estrategias innovadoras en todo el mundo, en múltiples empresas e industrias. También les dejo con Marcela. Marcela, encantada, muchas gracias. Y con Sonia, que va a estar conectada online. Les dejo, disfruten y nos vemos luego.
Gracias. Thank you, Hara, and good afternoon to all the professionals that are joining with us today. I'm really happy to be moderating this session today with such timely topics. You know, like we all agree that we are living very interesting times with a big change in society. We don't know what is going to happen. We know what happened to all of us and what happened to our business, but we have still a lot of questions ahead. And we need to navigate according with these changes, and take some decisions and make some decisions that will change our business and the future of how we work nowadays. And at the center of all these changes, there is one important, at the core is one important thing, the consumer. The consumer, which is and the person which has new motivations, other desires and aspirations that if we want to keep being relevant in this new digital era, we need to really understand how he feels, what he wants, and really connect with them. I think today we will talk about what we are doing, how these new changes are coming from the consumer habits, and what the industries are doing to cope in the retail with those challenges. And with us, we have two exceptional businesswomen that I'm sure that we're going to be a very good conversation with all of them. For one side, in remote, from Potsdam, we have Sonia. Hello, Sonia. Sonia Mosbuster. She works in Media Saturn, more known in Spain as MediaMark, which is the leading company on computer and electronics of consumer for Europe, with 1,000 stores. And I think you have around, correct me if I am wrong, but more than 20 billion of sales on this year. And Sonia, she's a managing director of a branch called Next3, and she's in charge of all these pilots, experiments on new products, new services, new in-store systems, new business models that will shape the future of Media Saturn as it is. Welcome, Sonia.
Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to our talk.
Good. And Marcela Bartenberg. She's CEO of All We Wear, which is one of the most successful companies in fashion in Spain, but with very known international brands such as Pepe Jeans, Hackett, Fashionable, and I think it's one of the top players on denim in the world, with 500 brand retail shops and more than 1,000, correct me if I'm wrong, but 1,000 point of sales around the globe.
Yes, correct.
Then Marcela is the CEO of this company, and what is interesting about her is that she's been traveling a lot, due to her executive jobs. She's been immersing herself in a lot of cultures, from North America to North Europe to Latin America and now to South Europe. And these perceptions of cultures and these regions and how culture shapes the companies and how culture shapes the business makes her very successful solving complex transformational challenges, and she's been developing amazing teams and leaving a long-term mark on them.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Anna. It's a pleasure to be here with you and with Sonia.
Well, it's a three women on a stage. This is something changes in the new economy, doesn't it?
Totally, and with totally different backgrounds. That's the most interesting. 3 women, 3 backgrounds, 3 cultures. So,
very good. Then today we will talk about the changes of the e-commerce on the strategies of traditional retailers and how we can compete. Also, we will talk about the new consumer habits, what we are doing to follow them, and specifically in terms of sustainability. 2020, it's been a breakthrough year and was a record year for e-commerce. With shops closed, consumers have changed their habits digitally and big time. Pandemic has accelerated that existing trend, but placing e-commerce players with a strong positioning in terms of growth and challenging traditional retailers and making them harnessing more efforts and funds to the e-commerce strategy. You both come from traditional business and retail. Sonia, how you can compete with pure digital players?
I think that we add further dimension to pure players only because we add proximity. So customers have the ability to actually come close to us. They can try our products, and we can fulfill their needs by adding services. Therefore, I actually see a lot of advantages being close to customers.
Marcela, does this strategy apply to All We Wear and fashion?
I think in our case, we need pure players, but we also need minorists. We need department stores. I think it's about the combination, and I just mentioned in the radio interview. I think it's very important to understand that we need a multi-channel. For an economy to really go to the next level, you need to think about the multi-channel environment. You need people that would love to go to a specialist store. There's people that would like to go to pure players. However, something that is very important is we should all implement digital tools. So our own e-commerce, our own pure players, the department stores, everyone should implement and become mini pure players. So the word pure players is digital stores. So we should all have a digital store.
And what about, what is changing if I go now to your stores? What you have been changing in terms of adapting to these new moments? What I can find different?
Oh, Anna, I think it has been a journey. I always say we live an accordion. We open, close, and we and we close stores in the last 18 months, depending on the situation. Today we are reopening with a new mindset. It starts by saying people wants to have more air. The store should be a place where it becomes a showroom for customers to touch, to test, to feel. I think something that Sonia said very interesting is proximity, but also to touch, to see the product. I think that's an important role that physical stores will play. They need to become a showroom, and what it has changed is we are implementing much more digital tools into the store for the salespeople to have more tools, but also there's more air, create more showroom, not just a lot of product. And I think, of course, all the things that makes people feel closer to the brands and the service.
Okay, Sonia, have you invested also in digital tools, in informing the customer, providing more services in your space?
Yes, of course. I think there's no way around it. You have to invest in digital. Also, if you look at the stores, and especially in our industry and consumer electronics, our customers are so much more informed when they come to a store that we also have to give our employees tools that they are actually able to answer with a lot of competence, because they cannot always be in that depth of each article that the consumer is in, who has researched weeks or even months to really investigate and limit his choice. So there's no way around digital tools, but also not only for consulting and supporting our employees in working with the customer, but also for improving our efficiency.
Very good. Yeah, that comes to my mind because we did a project where we did a report together with CBRE, and we're spotting the new trends we saw in the consumers, and we see that kind of. No, I agree with you that they want to have this sense of autonomy, while at the same time feeling support by experts. And another trend we spot, it's related with what you say, the physical spaces being more spacious, having more immersive, being more, breathing them. Like, yeah, do you agree that nowadays people feel stressed and we have to provide much more comfortable spaces in that terms?
Yes, I think so, yes. Definitely the human being is every day more stressed because we live with a lot of things around us. New generations are having all-day connection with social media. They want to almost eat the world very young. They have a job that they want to succeed very fast and be promoted very quick. They have friends, they have a relationship. So they have so many things around and so many choices that I think it's so important that all this connected, the stores needs to be a vehicle where they can also enjoy. I don't think that we should be another stress for them. We should be that, and the space in the store is going to play an important role. The same thing that the space at work and the space at the restaurants. I think today, wherever we go, we want to feel that the space we are living, our day-to-day, should have an important impact. And stores are important that we need to renew ourselves to be able to create that service, that moment to enjoy by going to a store.
Excellent. Sonia, which other new consumer habits are you addressing and how?
I completely agree with Marcella, but I also think that stores have to work in different ways. So there are consumers who want to spend a lot of time browsing through the categories, looking at products, touching them, trying them out. And then there are also consumers who just want to get in, get the product, and get out as fast as possible because they are stressed, they don't have time, they need to just get it done. And I think the complexity comes in that it's not consumer A who always acts like that and consumer B who always acts like that, because I could be the completely relaxed person spending like an hour in a store one day, and in the morning and in the afternoon I just want to get in and out. So it's not only about product personalization, but also about personalizing the actual experience of the customer while he is doing the store visit, and that we as retailers have the ability to adapt and recognize very fast how does our consumer or customer want to shop today, and actually that ideally the store adapts automatically to that.
Good. In terms of personalization, Marcela, what are you doing?
Service. I think service is very important. I think let's not forget that data is very important. I think Sonia has mentioned efficiencies. Digitalization is also because of efficiency, and efficiency can only be gained if you have data. So personalization is also giving you data to how do we get across to the customer in a better way? How do we avoid, if you're a woman, why are we offering you men's clothes? Or if you're a man that has kids, offer them also kids' clothes, but don't offer them if you're a single with no. So I think personalization is going to be very important to really understand and give more transparent information. At the same time, I think personalization helps to get a one-to-one experience. It's not only about personalizing from a age, gender, race for buying, but also from a service perspective. I think something that Sonia tackled very good is about each customer is different. And you're the expert in consumers, more than even than me. But you know how important it is to say you cannot put one size fits all. Everybody has a different way of shopping. So personalization is important to be able to tackle the different demands or requests of the consumers.
Yeah, well, look, the other day I was looking what Amazon knows about me.
Yes. And
It's not everything about data. Well, I am 30 years old, and I love to play basket, which obviously I'm not a basket player. Then, yeah, data is good, but, I think you retailers, you can have much more thick and rich data to do this personalization at a human level.
And we need to think that qualitative information is very important. The consumer, we are emotional. We are humans. We are not robots. So personalization on a human perspective is going to be a very important thing in the future.
Fantastic.
Absolutely agree. Yeah, that's a very good point, Michelle.
Yeah.
Because that's also, I think, why some customers will come to the store because they want to have this personal interaction.
Yes.
Totally.
Sonia, before you were talking about efficiency and some technical innovations you were doing to increase efficiency, can you extend on that?
Yeah, sure. So we are doing different things on different time horizontal levels. So, for example, we are constantly improving the way that we support our employees in the pickup process. So they are informed well in time when there's a pickup, where to find it, and so on. So this is all going into efficiency. And further down the road, we're working on something we call in-store positioning, which is the technical basis for understanding where is a product and how does a store look like. So we give our customers and also our employees the ability to be guided through a product without asking anybody, but just going in and getting out as fast as possible. Because
Amazing.
search is an important topic in the offline world. And there are much more things like that we're working on.
Amazing.
Oh, so interesting.
So interesting.
It's so different, no? That both categories.
Totally.
So different. that also it's about, perhaps me, Anna, I am in one way in your shop, and I will be completely different in yours. And yeah, let's talk about, this. I think pre-pandemic, we had this conscious consumer that doesn't rely anymore on institutions and governments and companies to fight for the climate change. And they are connecting with brands that also help them to fight against climate change. And in specifically, in fashion, there is a huge carbon print due to the returns. I think in some categories, 9 out of 10 products are returned. And how do you see this challenge, and how do you manage it?
One of my favorite topics, sustainability. I think, and I always said, sustainability, it's a duty. It is something we are responsible. It's not something that is used for marketing. It's not something to say, oh, it's nice, this is sustainable. It is a new way of living that I think all humans, we need to adopt it as part of our day-to-day. So from home all the way to work, but also the way we dress and all that. So when we talk about our actions, I think it's very important. You just said it. In average, depending on the industry, in our industry, I would say there is a 60% returns. So 6 of every 10 pieces. But to ship the pieces to the customer and return the pieces, it's an incredible waste of paper, plastics, CO2 emissions. But everybody's super excited with e-commerce. I think the challenge for all of us is that e-commerce needs to become sustainable in the chain and the supply chain. This means that in our case, we want to implement and push customers to return the goods in the stores and to pick up the things at the store. That will reduce the CO2 emissions a lot. It will reduce the paper consumption, the waste. So I think there's ways to start educating. I think people doesn't realize everything that we do by buying in e-commerce, by buying 5 pieces at the same time instead of buying 5 times 1 piece. I think we need to start educating all of us on what are the benefits for the world and the planet to buy intelligent. I would say we need to buy intelligent. So I think sustainability and e-commerce are going to be very much connected in the coming years. I foresee that. And then, of course, sustainability from a fashion perspective, I can tell you much more about it, but it is something that we need to live, all of us, and be responsible. I'll tell everybody I invite everybody to really think about sustainability when we do our day-to-day living, from the way we wake up to the way that we go to sleep.
Yeah, very interesting, and completely agree. Sonia, what are you doing now in your shops about this?
Luckily, returns are not a big issue for our industry. So our return rate is a lot less than in fashion. And we also are lucky that our pickup rate is already quite high. So lucky in the context of sustainability. What we're doing right now, for example, is we're doing a test with cargo bikes, so e-bikes, e-bike delivery to reduce the emissions there and test how that works. Does it integrate within our processes? What is customer feedback and so on? And we're also going very clearly in the direction of returning, for example, smartphones, so re-commerce. That's, I think, very important because in our case, we also have to talk about sustainability in regards to our products and what do we do with the old products.
Wow, super specific. Thank you very much for sharing with us that.
It's great.
And yeah, then talking about, like we've been talking about sustainability, but how your companies are avoiding the marketing effect, the greenwashing around that subject, and being more authentic in terms of concrete goals.
I think what Sonia says is very important. We need to identify which product category, what they are doing with the smartphones. I think there's a few things in fashion that we need to use more. For example, in the case of jeans, being such a big seller of jeans, the amount of water we spend in a pair of jeans is ridiculous. Just for everybody to know, a jeans can take between 20 to 50 liters. And we buy jeans, and we all love jeans. So we found a way, together with actually a Spanish company from the south of Spain, from here, to create a new technology, incredible technology, where we only use practically 1 cup of water per jeans for the whole washing and chemical process. And yes, is that something that is going to be the future? Yes. By 2025, we're committed that 95% of our jeans are going to be sustainable. Why do we choose the jeans? Because that's a big product category. But all our T-shirts, all our shirts for men, and all, we are talking about organic, sustainable cotton. I think all companies, despite, like, I love what Sonia was saying, they're doing the smartphones, I'm doing the jeans. Every company needs to take the product category that represents a big percentage of their business. We should not become heroes by an item that is 1% of our business. We need to become game changers. And to make game changers, We need to take the volume makers, the things that are making a change. I think it's so important to say we are in the journey. And I invite everybody not to be ashamed. I invite all the companies and all the consumers to say, don't be, it's not black and white. We are all learning about sustainability, and we should all be in the journey about making this planet much better by 2025 and 2030. We are already doing big steps in the world. The new generation is really big supporter of that. And I'm really big believer that all the governments around the world are working on that together with the companies. So let's look at the product. Water is very important for me. Chemicals is really important. Think about all this water that we just waste by using wrong chemicals. And the third one is waste. I think waste is such a pity. Like, I love what Saturn is doing with the smartphones. Yes, we have become disposable consumers. We need to think about recycling those products.
Well, very ambitious goals. Go for it. Good. Well, so far we've been talking about personalizing experiences, making our spaces much more comfortable, training and giving tools to the salespeople to cope with the technicalities and a lot of information and education to the consumer. We've been talking about sustainability and efficiency, but all these changes at the same time, how you can manage it?
Sonia, how can we manage? We need to plan. We need to have really, I would say, we need to work together. We need to be together as different industries. For me, being able to hear, for example, what Sonia is implementing, or for example, we were talking before we started, but what you're implementing, what the schools are implementing. I think it's very important that we really believe that together we can do those changes, that we need to implement that the consumer has changed and we are getting closer to that consumer. But it starts that also our way of working in the companies needs to adapt to this, I would say.
Good. And you, Sonia, I think you are developing tools and trainings and with gamification. You told me for helping people also to develop themselves to the new roles that is demanding.
Yeah, but it's like Marcella says, I think it's really step by step, and we all have to embrace the change and help all our colleagues around us to also embrace it and go the steps and adapt the trainings, because the changes we're going through, and that's changes within omnichannel, but also within sustainability, means that our jobs will change. Our roles will change, our focus will change, sustainability and customers in the center of everything changes the way that we act. And I think that requires a lot of communication, trainings, change management, and I love what Marcella said, also cooperation and learning from each other and being open, transparent, internally but also externally.
That's a good point. I think transparency is key. Digital tools are key. We spoke about it, what MediaMarkt is implementing about search functions in the store. I think today is a very good example how Be New is also an example of educating the team, sharing different things by just being a hybrid model between some of us being here, some of us being connected. I think that's the way to think. How do we create digital tools to educate, to share, and to really find information? So from searching as a consumer to knowing how to do a process in a company to all the way to connecting with other industries. So everywhere we need to think about digital tools. We are implementing digital tools like something a little bit more simple than I love what MediaMarkt and Saturn are doing on regards to search, but educating our store staff about the product. So when they come, in the past you do these big training sessions or you send them a book. Sending them a book is not sustainable. Making a training, I think everybody has learned that we should travel less, have less CO2 emissions, but information is going very fast. So having digital tools that we can push information, they can just open it, get small webinars of 15 minutes, 10 minutes, almost like you get this quick I would say yes, little TED Talks, internal talks of motivation that also helps and connects people.
Fantastic. And Marcela, I was talking now like you as a CEO of a recent CEO of All We Wear. Just now after you start came the pandemic. How you live that and what how you maintain this spirit, how you went through this path.
What doesn't kill you makes you stronger to start. And I think that, let's be realistic, we have an opportunity in front of us, all of us. Um, People that we read history and we all get proud of, wow, when there was a revolution, the industrial revolution, the first steam machines, wow, what an we are living almost that. We as a globe, we are living a digital world where we are almost reborning of a new era of the way we do, the way we behave and all that. So yes, I was 100 days in the business when this little thing happened to us. This little thing that I thought initially that was just going to be a couple of weeks, and 18 months later, we are sitting here, incredible to finally have this type of event where it's hybrid, where there's digital, but there's also people like you and me sitting here, but we have Sonia in. How do we live this? First of all, there's opportunities. There's in any crisis, there's an opportunity. So let's think this not, oh, how things used to be. Oh, before, I think we need to say, okay, this is tomorrow. What do we need for tomorrow? What was good yesterday is not going to be good for tomorrow. So that's why I tell my team, guys, there's always a better way to do things, but let's embrace it. It's no way going back. I think we came even stronger as an organization, as a team. The way that we grew up as a team, I'm very proud of my people because to one day to the other, we were not digital from our mindset. To become digital, we are creative business. We need to touch, we need to feel, we need to have emotions, and to the next day, nothing. I need to say the people were very, very committed. I think the human being adapts to everything. I'm proud of the human being, of my team, of myself, of how we got along to this. And I need to say, let's just go and look forward. Let's start thinking, okay, what can I do for this planet, for my people around me? And let's think about being humans. We are humans. We need to be human-centric. We need to think about us, about our environment and our people.
And Sonia, also, no, like you are more like we were talking about this idea of working all together, not just also from our walls, but counting with others to help. You are working with a lot of startups. What you can share with us about this energy and what is the value that startups are bringing to your business?
I would like to go back one thing to what Marcella said. I originally also believed that it would only take a couple of weeks. I had to smile a lot when you just said it.
Oh.
So, the startup community, I think startups have the value and ability that they approach things from a completely different perspective and angle just because they don't know better. They don't know the complex world that we have built because we're in this certain area for years and years to come and have done it always that way. They come from an outside perspective and solve a problem just the way they think it's smart to solve. Um, and by having this outside perspective enables corporates like us to get shortcuts into solutions, get things done. I think that's one of the top advantages working with startups. And the others are that they're fast and very pragmatic. So you don't discuss a lot about establishing huge interfaces, APIs, how to transfer data, to just test things if it works, if it's relevant. Hey, let's do it via sending you an Excel file every day, and they do it manually. And because that's enough for finding out does it work. we are finding a way to make it work, to actually understand if it's relevant. I think that's also a mindset corporates can profit a lot from.
I think if I may interrupt, I think Sonia has touched a very important point. Years ago, we always spoke about how important was this entrepreneurial spirit. I think startups are bringing to the table, and Sonia's lucky to work with all startups, exactly that, the no complexity. They're just so virgin on the way of doing things. They just go ahead, and I think that's what we need to benefit. All companies, we should be surrounded of small startups that makes us think different. Should challenge the big corporations to move even faster. So Sonia, I think you have touched a very important point, and I'm all aligned with you on this one, and you're very lucky to work with so many startups and make a great job on that.
Yeah, I enjoy it a lot.
Yes.
I can imagine.
I can imagine. Can imagine. Well, thank you very much for your insights. I think we have time now to pass to the questions from our public.
Yo les quiero transmitir algunas preguntas. Por ejemplo, han hablado de la sostenibilidad, de la conciencia social. Supongo que la pandemia nos ha hecho de algún modo ponernos más a pensar en esto, ¿no? ¿Creéis que este proceso de crisis, de habernos encerrado en casa, de no poder salir a comprar, nos ha hecho pensar un poco más en el planeta? ¿Eso es real? ¿El cliente ha cambiado? ¿Exige a las empresas de algún modo ser más sostenibles?
Should I answer English or Spanish?
Your way. English.
I'll do English so that Sonia can also interrupt me, because I think we are, and my German is not really good. So, I think so. Yes, I think that it made us see a world outside the day-to-day. We had time to look at it. So when we were sitting at home, and we could observe what was happening, I think people were much more sensitive to the planet. We knew the planet was there, and yes, we like green and we wanted to be all better, but sitting at home and looking at the television and looking what was happening and looking in your window and seeing the trees and start to read a lot. I think people got very educated during the pandemic period. People read a lot. I think it makes us more sensitive also, and more, that's why I go back to human-centric. So yes, I think that it accelerated. I will not say it changes, it accelerates. It was there, but suddenly, boom, it was a big explosion. I think that's one. I think also acquiring things with e-commerce, looking at what we really needed versus not need, I think it also made us think, okay, what do I really need to buy all this? And also you could see how much garbage you were generating every day. And then you thought, okay, I'm buying, there's garbage, there's Green Planet. So yes, I think the pandemic made us be more sensitive towards this and accelerate it.
Mm-hmm. Sonia, I don't know if you want to add something about it.
I think also that now we are in this situation for 18 months, we reflect a lot and think about our life before and put it in perspective or question if we actually have to travel so much, if it made sense to fly to a certain meeting, or if it would have been already back then better to do it virtually, and all this coming together with what Marcela just said.
Continuamos con otra pregunta, hablando de si las empresas de algún modo llegaron tarde a la digitalización, ¿no? Hubo muchas empresas que con la pandemia tuvieron que acelerar un poco, poner de forma urgente esos modelos electrónicos para garantizar de algún modo pues, su sostenibilidad, ¿no? Les pregunto, ¿se llegó tarde en algunos casos? ¿Alguien se puede permitir en pleno siglo XXI no tener un negocio que también esté online?
Sonia, do you want to start or I start?
Please, you start, because I have no clue what the question
Okay, it's about, okay, very simple. If some companies were late in digitalization, I think so. Yes, I will say that even my business was not as advanced as other businesses. So I'm one of those companies that maybe before it was in my plan, because I had 100 days in the company, so I thought that's going to be a plan, but I just started. But I remember that day sitting, I needed to accelerate. I think that it's not that people didn't have it in the plans, it was not maybe as fast the investment that we wanted. The pandemic made us be much faster, but I will say also, in my case, it was one of my top 3 priorities the day I started in the company to say digitalization is going to be one of my three priority of, it's a mind change. It's not only buying a system. Everybody says, oh, digital means you buy an app. No. Digital means a mindset on how you work day to day. How do you implement your task and your process with digital tools that should be enablers to become better? So I think we were just slower than other companies because it requires a lot of investment from a CapEx, from the system, but also from a mindset and people. I think we were forced and everybody needed to say, okay, now I take it. I remember sitting in my home with the little screen, 25 people there, and giving instructions, all of us. We all needed to learn. Many of them, they never did meetings, virtual meetings. We had designers, they didn't have a clue how to do it. So we were forced and we all learned very quick. So that was nice. So I think there was also a big advantage of it.
Mm-hmm. Sonia, I don't know if you want to add something about your experience in digitalization with the pandemic.
Touched everything. So I also think that COVID has been an accelerator. So we all had to adapt and learn fast, and we did. So that's, I think, amazing to see that we as humans adapt so fast. But on the other hand, that we need this point of urgency, and that we cannot rely on our good intentions to change, or not always. It will take just longer. So I think that's where COVID helped. And for companies who are still behind e-commerce, I think it's all about getting started. And by now there are so many good softwares and tools that can help retailers to become an online retailer, that you don't have to invent everything new again. There are fixes, and you just have to take the decision to start.
And also, I think that if I might add is, we cannot do it alone. Digital is a very important thing for everyone. There's many startups, there's many companies that they can help us in that process. So I will say, make partnerships. I will tell everyone, don't be scared of doing partnerships. We accelerated a lot because we did strong partnerships with companies that they were experts on that. And not the knowledge needs to be inside. So my people can focus on making the best of it and learning how to become digital. But the tools and implementation came from partnerships.
Mm-hmm. Pues muchas gracias. Thank you very much, Sonia. Gracias, Marcela. Gracias a Nati también por esto. Vamos a hacer una especie de resumen para que los que se estén enganchando ahora vean un poco sobre lo que hemos hablado ahora mismo aquí en esta conferencia. Primera reflexión de todas. 2020 ha hecho que las empresas se hayan tenido que adaptar de forma rápida y que se hayan tenido que poner las pilas, para decirlo de algún modo, ¿no? Se han enfrentado a nuevos jugadores del e-commerce que han forzado a los negocios tradicionales, pues a adaptarse. También hemos puesto énfasis en la necesidad de un entorno multicanal. Ya no vale estar o solo online o solo físicamente, se necesita ir combinando, y en ese caso también que las tiendas tienen que generar experiencias, no solo ser tiendas en las que se compra y ya está, sino hacer una especie de experiencia para que el cliente se sienta a gusto. La importancia de la personalización. No hay solo una manera de comprar y una manera de vender. Se necesita saber los gustos del usuario, del consumidor, para ofrecerle precisamente esa experiencia personalizada. También la necesidad, valga la redundancia, mucha necesidad aquí, de educar a los clientes a comprar de forma sostenible. Y eso también compete a las empresas, ofrecer prendas y producir prendas sostenibles. Nos quedamos con todos esos mensajes. Repito, muchas gracias por esta ponencia. Nos quedamos con esos mensajes. Veremos cómo evoluciona en un futuro todo esto. Nosotros nos tenemos que despedir ahora, no sin antes dar las gracias a todos nuestros sponsors globales, los que han hecho posibles que este BNew, el Barcelona New Economy Week, sea posible. Hablamos del Ministerio de Transportes, Movilidad y Agenda Urbana, también del Ayuntamiento de Barcelona, Servihabitat, el servicer líder en gestión de activos financieros e inmobiliarios, y y Akbar, la empresa de gestión del ciclo integral del agua con más de 150 años de historia. Les vamos a dejar ahora con una charla inspiracional que va a empezar en aproximadamente unos 15 minutos, pero no va a ser en este plató de e-commerce en el que continuaremos con más ponencias, con más debates, con más entrevistas, pero un poco más tarde. Les vamos a dejar, como decimos, con esa charla inspiracional desde la antigua fábrica de Estrella Damm. Allí les espera Anxo Pérez, él es el creador de 8bells.com, un método que te garantiza hablar un idioma en 8 meses. La charla se llama La felicidad es cuestión de estrategia y nos dará algunas claves para dejar de depender constantemente del entorno y empezar a confiar en nosotros mismos. Nosotros les dejamos y les vemos en un rato. Gracias.